This is LSAT PrepTest 155, Section 3, Passage 4. This is a comparative passage on the Whorf hypothesis, the idea that your language controls how you think. Difficulty level here is medium, not because either passage is necessarily hard to read, it's because they look like they disagree when they mostly don't. Now here is the wrong way to read this set. Passage A bashes Whorf, Passage B defends him. That framing is going to cost you points on every single relationship question. Both passages reject the strong version of Whorf, both leave room for a weaker version. The difference is how far each one commits. Now, Passage A opens with a takedown. First paragraph, the author basically says Whorf sold everyone a bad idea in 1940. The claim was that your native language locks you into a certain way of seeing reality. And the author's verdict is blunt. There was never any evidence for that. So you can move through this paragraph pretty fast. It's just demolishing the argument. The argument hasn't actually started yet. The second paragraph is where Passage A actually lives. The author makes a very specific correction. Whorf didn't get the wrong answer. He asked the wrong question. Language doesn't limit your thoughts. It just pushes your attention in certain directions. The author says language influences what it obliges you to think about. And that word obliges is doing real work. It's not that you can't think something, it's that your grammar keeps putting certain categories in front of you, whether you want them there or not. And then you get the German-Spanish study. Bridges are grammatically feminine in German, masculine in Spanish. German speakers described bridges as being slender and elegant. Spanish speakers called them strong. It's the same object with different associations, and the only variable is grammatical gender. This is the proof right here. It shows that language is nudging perception without blocking anything. And so Passage A's position is pretty clean. Strong Whorf is dead. But a softer version, language as an attention shaper, holds up. Now Passage B. This one has a twist in the middle, and if you miss it, you're going to misunderstand the whole passage. The first half describes the studies of the Paraha and Munduruku people in the Amazon. They don't have real words for numbers. They don't count. But researchers tested them on numerical tasks like matching quantities, comparing sets, basic addition and subtraction, and they could do it roughly speaking. They had what the passage calls an innate, imprecise, nonverbal concept of number. That means you don't need language to think about quantity at all. So strong Whorf takes another hit. And if you stopped there, Passage B looks purely anti-Whorf. But the passage doesn't stop there. Right at the midpoint you get, however, there's more to the story. You want to slow down here because everything after this sentence is the actual argument. The enumerate subjects could handle approximate numbers, but they didn't care about exact equality. They'd match 4 items to 5 and shrug. They'd say 6 minus 3 equals 2 and feel fine about it. Now, people with number words never do that. For numerate people, 2 plus 2 is exactly 4, not roughly 4. And so something changes when you learn number words. And the passage gives you 3 possible explanations. First, number words create the concept of exact equality from scratch, and that's strong Whorf. 2, they help expand a concept that already exists in some small form. That's weaker Whorf. And then 3, they just direct your attention toward exact equality. And that one barely counts as Whorfian at all. And here's what matters. Passage B doesn't pick one of those, it lays out all 3 and then just walks away. Now, how do these passages actually relate? That's where you want to focus your attention. Both authors agree strong Whorf is wrong. Language doesn't trap you. Both authors agree language does something real to cognition, and where they split is on their confidence. Passage A picks a lane, says language shapes habitual attention, done. Passage B stays at a fork in the road. It says something is happening with exact number, but it won't commit to what. And you want to notice this. Passage B's third explanation, that language directs attention to exact equality, it sounds almost identical to Passage A's entire argument. So the passages are not just compatible, on one reading they're saying the same thing. And the questions are probably going to ask whether you caught that overlap. Now, the key move across both passages is the gap between rejecting Whorf's strong claim and accepting a weaker one. And every hard question will live in that gap. What exactly does each author think language does? How strong an effect are they willing to grant? The main trap is overstating the disagreement. If you slot these into anti-Whorf versus pro-Whorf, you're going to choose wrong answers that sound decisive, but the right answers will feel more cautious. They'll say things like, both acknowledge some linguistic influence on cognition, instead of saying they fundamentally disagree. Now, before you get to the questions, you want to make sure you're solid on 3 things. First, why does Passage A say Whorf was wrong about the type of influence, not wrong about influence existing? Second, why does Passage B split into 2 halves, and what does each half prove? And third, which of passage B's 3 final explanations would the author of passage A most likely endorse?